Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Metal video. So just before we eventually come around, we've got all the new content from the SS4 Gogeta stuff, that whole new To the Galaxy event that's going on currently, which is really nice. I thought I would just highlight in the background, obviously, that the Prime Battle Frieza's EZA is coming up on the 14th, on Valentine's Day, which I think will coincide with either the start or the end of like a small event for Valentine's Day, which will be really nice. But yeah, to take a look at that event, just to highlight kind of, getting Prime Battle Frieza and that farm that's still going on, because the Prime Battle event for Frieza is at half stamina, which is very important. If you take a look at the stages, I just went through them briefly on the screen. In the first stage you get copies of Frieza, in the second stage you get copies to awaken him to TUR, then in the third stage you get medals to awaken him to his LR form, and in the final stage you actually get copies of Frieza and medals to awaken him to his LR form. So generally, if you have the units, I do suggest only running the second stage for medals to awaken him to TUR, and the third stage, because you will get the medals to awaken him to LR, and you should get more than enough copies, unless you're horribly lucky, of him to take him to 20 SA and to max him out and his paths. In terms of units that are viable for this event, like most Prime Battles, the only units that are viable for this event are units that drop from other events. So you can't use even battlefield units like Captain Ginyu or Mecha Frieza or anything like that. You have to only use units that drop from an event, which means they have to distinctively drop in the stage. That sucks because some units like the Goku, Goten and Gohan, who are bought with chocolate candy from the store, even though the candy drops from the stage, the units don't, so they're not viable. In terms of units that are good for this, sorry about that. In terms of units that are good for this event, overall, the problem being that you can't use the Captain Ginyu as a lead. You still want to use the Ginyu Force. The reason being, the Ginyu Force is filled with the buff requirements. So the stage has a buff, you get increased drops from having as many Ginyu Force units in your team as possible. You cannot use the Sai Ginyu, you cannot use the Tech Captain Ginyu. Those two units obviously drop from battlefield, but I do suggest that you use those units. Otherwise, if you don't have the Ginyu Force and you don't feel like farming them, you don't have the time to farm them, I have a video up about farming them, but if you don't have the time, or it's just not on your agenda, or you find it too boring, or whatever the story is, then the easiest way to do it is to have the Prime Battle Goku as a lead. If you can't have Prime Battle Goku as a lead, you can use Goku and Arale as a lead. They're Dragon Ball Seekers lead, and there's plenty of Dragon Ball Seekers units that are out there. If you can't use Goku and Arale as a lead, then I suggest using EZA Candy Vegito. If you can't use EZA Candy Vegito, then I don't know. I suggest using Bardock, or some unit that can carry a team of tech and agility units, because Frieza himself is mainly physical, strength, and he is agility, so that kind of determines your stage here. But overall, the stage itself is not too hard. You'll see the team that I'm rocking. I generally take the Goku and Arale because they will one-shot him. Tech Easier Goku, if he gets his attack off, will one-shot him. Tech Captain Ginyu, if he gets his attack off, will one-shot him. It's not distinctively a hard event. It's not something whereby you're going to struggle with this if you have the units farmed. Even the Ginyu Force team themselves, as long as they are under 2 kind of leader skills, they will also be perfectly fine. The Ginyu Force themselves are on the Dragon Ball Seekers team. So obviously when you take Goku and Arale, don't panic, you will have them as an option under the Dragon Ball Seekers, so they will be getting the key and the buff. There's no real weak units, or at least for this stage. They're not strongest units overall, but there's no real weak links in this team. As long as you have them under 2 leads, you should be able to clear up the Frieza event quite quickly. But yeah, if you can, I do suggest just having the SS4 Goku as your lead. The EZA SS LR Goku as your lead. Been playing too much Giant Ape team there. And having the Goku and Arale as your secondary, or vice versa. You can obviously have Goku and Arale as your main lead, and then rock the Tech Goku as your secondary lead. Tech Goku won't get the full buff from the Goku and Arale, but he will be perfectly fine with only that half buff anyway. He will be able to one-shot him still and be able to defend any of his attacks, so there's no real problem there. In terms of the unit itself, so basically what you're going to need is, if you are doing the grind fully to get them to SA 20, you're going to need 24 copies. Yeah, you're going to need 24 copies, because you're going to need 14 for the first copy, and then you're going to need 10 for the second copy to get his SA to 20, which means you're going to need 30 of the TUR medals, and you're going to need 777 medals twice over, which is obviously 1,554 medals in total. When you are doing this grind, I do suggest doing it now while it's half stamina. I do suggest getting the Ginyu Force. They will dramatically help you do it. If you're looking for like a easy route to do it each day, maybe just pop your boosts on the stage while you have them. You still have about a week or two to go before the event, so just think of it like aiming for, if you're just going for the first copy, just think of aiming for 50 medals a day. It's probably the easiest way to look at it. If you are aiming for your second copy, maybe aim at getting 100 medals a day. By aiming for 100 medals a day, you'll easily be able to clear out the event. You'll be able to have your 2 copies of Frieza. You'll be able to SA 20 him. If you're doing the grind 3 times over because you just don't want to waste any cars and you have to take the unit and put them to SA 25 for free, then I wish you luck. But obviously the same thing, you're going to be aiming for about 150, 160 medals a day. So just go in there and get that grind done. You'll see that you'll reap the benefits eventually and you'll be perfectly fine. Overall, obviously Frieza's eventual EZA will be very, very good. The main reason being is that he, as a Prime LR, has one of the best link sets that the Prime LR has had. He's got the majority of the kind of Wicked Bloodline link sets that make them have decent key, along with having Big Bag Bosses and Fear and Faith as such, which are good links for a lot of the like extreme based teams that he's on. Big Bad Bosses being the big one, because it's obviously that perma 25% attack and defense buff, which is, you know, very, very, very good to have. So in terms of that, it's going to be quite a wild ride. One nice thing is that technically by doing this Frieza event, if you've never done it before, is you do technically get 2 LRs, because Awakening Frieza and putting him to 100% will get you 1 copy of the Tech Ginyu. Even though he can't be used in the event, hey, you need him for the Ginyu Force SBR, so there you go, congratulations. You are 1 step closer to finishing that SBR. But yeah, as you can see, the event is definitely not the most difficult to farm. I wouldn't say that it's distinctly difficult at all. Even for brand new free-to-play players, as long as you come in here with a team that's relatively strong, you should be able to farm the unit quite easily. For those of you who don't want to go watch my Ginyu Force video, I will briefly just show you the stage where you can do the Ginyu Force challenge. It changes every single day. You can do it there in the story event stage. It will change from day to day. You basically farm their orbs and farm the unit from the stage. It's very similar to any other orb unit grind that you've done, or the Team Bardock grind is probably the best way. If you haven't done either, then I can't help you. You should hopefully be focusing on doing either as a new player when you have downtime, or even as an experienced player who hasn't done them yet. They pop up in events all the time. You need them for SBR. They just are something you're going to need. And then obviously we can take a look at this Frieza. Like I say, main thing with this Frieza is that his link set is just very, very good. So when his passive gets upgraded and he just gets his kick, he's got Strongest Clan in Space, Metamorphosis, Thirst for Conquest, Most Malevolent, Big Bad Bosses. I mean, he's just got all the links that you need really to make him shine and just bust out big damage, especially on the teams that he's on. You know, Thirst for Conquest, Extreme Strength, Wicked Bloodline. He's just got some great linking partners on those teams. But yeah, here's the team you'll need. Once again, you can watch my EZA video, prep video for Frieza, and I wish you guys best of luck, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers and bye.